Well, welcome back to this week's Bailey Built, kicking off 2022 with a nice DIY project. Now, you may be doing some renovations in your bathroom or changing out a faucet there in your kitchen. There's a new tool to help you be able to connect the traditional copper piping to the new PEX tubing, and it's called SharkBite. It's a great tool that's easy to use and something that's great for the DIYer. Here's how it works. SharkBite fittings are a great way to connect your legacy plumbing connections with new age materials. I'd like to thank our friends over at Ace Hardware for helping me find the supplies I needed for this video. I'll add links to them in the description below. This 90-degree fitting has a threaded connection on one side and can be connected to a supply line on the other side. This allows you to connect to a number of different types of pipe. The fitting also comes in a straight connection. This will allow fittings to be threaded on one side and tubing on the opposite end as well. This fitting is ideal for PEX tubing, which has become very popular over the years due to its flexibility and cost. SharkBite fittings also work with CPVC pipe and your traditional copper tubing. Now, when it comes to copper, it's important to make sure that you're using a hard copper and not the soft kind that was used when more pliable situations were needed. The first step in preparing the tube is getting it cut to the appropriate length. This Deluxe tube cutter works both for copper and PVC, and its adjustable jaws will open from 1/8 inch pipe to hold all the way up to 1 1/8 inches. Inside the mouth, there is a set of rollers on the bottom where the tube sits. It also has a blade on top. Now, as you rotate the cutter around the tube, its adjustable knob allows you to tighten it, and that blade continues to cut through the material until the full cut has been completed. If you're looking to change the tubing in an existing installation, this mini tube cutter works the same way. Its low profile will give you the added flexibility to work in tight spaces like under a sink or in a wall. Now, once the tubing has been cut, getting rid of the sharp edges is important, as those edges can damage the internal ring inside of the SharkBite fitting. Uneven edges can also prevent the tube from sitting flush, and that can lead to a leak. This deburring tool accepts a variety of sizes. Rotating the tube in the appropriate slot will remove the sharp edges and create a smooth ring. While the tubing is seated in the deburring tool, you can also mark its depth. That mark lets you know exactly how far to insert the tube into the SharkBite fitting to make the best connection. Once removed, you'll want to address the inside of the tube. They make an internal deburring tool, but I chose to use a file. You can also use a utility knife. Now, it's time to make some connections. After attaching two 90s, I attached an added coupler on top. Inserting the PEX tubing seemed pretty easy to attach. I used those depth lines to ensure I'd push the tube deep enough for the full connection. I found that working with PEX tubing and the SharkBite was pretty simple. I used a CPVC pipe, and it also seemed to work fairly easily. Next, I used the couplers. All right, well, we've wrapped up this round. Of course, the SharkBite turned out to be a pretty great tool, whether you're using copper or PEX tubing, but also the CPVC and PEX as well. It's really easy to use. One tip for you, you definitely want to make sure you have a disconnect clip. This is really great. You can just snap it on when you need to disconnect it if you need to reuse these SharkBite joints. Also, I found the deburring tool and the marking tool to be a big help for me with making my way through this project. Of course, if you love DIY projects and you want to stay up to date on what we've got going on, go ahead and click that like button or smash subscribe. Until the next time, take care.